You're everyone. I'm Wally, and the rest of the listeners are Brennan, and we're roasting chips. Yes. What do you
Hello.
go?
We did it same
I
time.
beat you to it. Was it the same time, or was I in the lead?
I think you might have been in the lead. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Remember to all you listeners who are the last one, just vote in the comments or by email.
They didn't vote.
AOL.com for all you Spotify and Apple Music
Oh, that's right.
listeners here. Yep.
Because that's what everyone uses.
Mhm.
Let's not reuse the same bit again. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it is the most successful email platform invented by Mark Hamill. So,
So Mark Hamill's just in the world now. Like he is everyone.
Yeah, I just have to promote it for him on his behalf because he's standing right in the corner. He has like a bow and arrow pointed at my head. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Just sitting there with a crossbow, just like
Chewbacca. I rewatched Hawkeye again recently.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Yes.
It's a very good show. Was it weird watching it after Christmas?
Yeah, a bit. The finale is growing on me though, very slowly.
Yeah. When I watched it with my mom, the same thing happened with me. I'm like, you know what? It's not that bad, So
yeah, I still don't like what they did with Kingpin. I really feel like they should have built his character up more.
What? Well, it's in the comics that he gets that she shoots him in the head, and then they think he's dead, but he's not. So hopefully that's the storyline they're going with. But guess we'll find out.
We will see
after the 10,000 other Marvel things that are happening.
Yeah,
because dear God, there's so much coming. But we get a short little break here. I think the next two episodes after this one are before Moon Knight. So, but before we get into any news, I do want to say something about the Batman trailer.
Batman trailer, yes.
You were right. The more I see that trailer with all the explosions and such, the less I want to see it. Like, it looks cool, but it's not like, the first trailer like really set the bar high. It's like, yes, not a regular Batman film, but like, I feel like they're trying to redo The Dark Knight,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You were right. I agree with you there. It just seems like a weird tone.
Yeah.
Or like it's just like it's a lot of it because it started off like the ads were all like, oh, it's a Batman we haven't seen before, but like the detective side, everything. It feels like it's just like every other Batman movie we've had here recently. So
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that's all the explosions in the movie, and they're just showing it to us in a minute and a half. I said last time I was going to have RJ on the show. Well, we barely had me on the show because I forgot we were having a podcast.
Yeah, usually it's me who forgets. And then I Snapchat you or whatever, and you were like, "What podcast?" I don't remember. Chip roasting. What's this thing that you're saying? And then I had to,
I had
remind you.
This whole day planned out. I was going to get a haircut. I was going to eat. Go get some Shomars and. Not sponsored, but and then you text me with like 10 minutes
sponsored.
You text me with 10 minutes left in work, and he's like, "What time's the podcast?" I was like, damn it, I forgot.
Rats, that thing.
Been delayed a day or two. So anyway, so let's get into some news, shall we?
Yes, let's do it. Let's dive right in. Like one of those like high dive things where you have to climb up the ladder and then like you're on the board and you just bounce a little bit and then like you dive off. That's us. That's what we're doing here. We're diving into it.
And
straight in, no interruptions, no pauses. We're just going
no
straight
lengthy
down.
Introduction to it.
No. Absolutely not. We're just straight in.
But on the last day of Book of Bobba Fett, announced the release date for Obi-Wan Kenobi with a pretty cool poster, if I do say so myself.
That release date is February 22nd. Oh, okay.
Well,
oops, I was off.
That would be something.
A little bit.
Can you imagine if there's the next day? Like we would have just held the podcast till Thursday, but we would have something to talk about. But so it's what did I say? May 25th. I almost said February 28th. May 25th.
I wish.
It's 3 months from this Friday. If you're listening to it this week, if you're not, well, it's different.
Do you know what's happening on February 28th like Marvel news and like?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say why it's significant that Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming out on the 25th. Do you know why?
I don't.
This is the day episode 4 was released.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The day Star
Hey.
Wars really, it was like however many years to
The
the day.
movie that Obi-Wan
45
died in.
years. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Obi-Wan's last chronological appearance as not a bluish figure.
Force Ghost.
Yeah,
You are, yep, that's correct. You are, wow. Did not think about that. Now, thank you for that.
You are
But
welcome.
no, I did not see what's significant about Marvel, but we'll get to Marvel. We have two more things
Okay.
with Star Wars, and then we'll come
Okay.
back to that. Okay?
Remind me and I'll loop
I
back
will
around
remind you
there.
because it's
Perfect.
because May 25th is highlighted in yellow because it's a date on my notes app.
Nice.
Anyway, we got a Star Wars: The Old Republic Legacy of the Sith remake trailer on the 15th of February. I don't know if you saw that. It was like a 6-minute clip of like a cutscene. It looked really cool. That's all I wrote.
Sweet.
I'll send you the clip if I can find it again.
All right.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Nice.
Because I saw a side by side from like the new graphics and the old graphics, and I don't know, PS4 and 5 have a little bit better graphics than the old PS1 or 2, whatever it came out on.
Nice.
It's no longer blocky, so it looks cool. I don't know, maybe they'll announce soon whether or not it's canon.
Cool.
I don't know. And then last piece of Star Wars news is IGN reported, I believe yesterday I saw this, that John Williams is writing the theme song for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's coming back for it. Yeah, I think this is the first time we'd see him since Rise of Skywalker, I believe.
Sure.
And the first time in a TV show because
true.
Would cost a lot of money for a TV show. That's why he's only doing the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
But so May 25th, what's happening for Marvel?
Oh, well, first of all, you forgot another important piece of Star Wars news.
Did I?
And this may have happened before the last podcast. I can't remember when it came out. I just know that I know that recently they released like the full trailer for the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game.
Nice.
And I may end up
for that.
Getting that. I haven't liked a lot of the Lego games recently. I like the very simple mechanics and everything. But with this game, it looks pretty promising.
If there's an online portion of this game where you can like beat the game online, we should totally stream it.
Yeah, or even if it's not online, if there's just like one weekend or whatever. They just want to meet up for it too.
And we'll just sit here and we'll play it, and
that would be fun.
Because I'm getting it for my computer. I'm getting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sweet, man.
I was gonna get it for the Switch, but then my roommate was like, "Get it for the PC instead." I was like, "You know what? That's a good point. Good idea, friend."
Huh.
Yep.
I like the Switch things more. That's I don't like a lot of games on the PC for some reason.
Gotcha.
I don't know why.
I think it's a storage thing for why I'm gonna get it, as why he told me to get it. So because Switches don't have a lot of storage.
Okay.
At least not as much as my terabyte computer.
True. But for Marvel news now, the news isn't on May 25th, but it was coming on February 28th. On February 28th, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and The Punisher are leaving Netflix forever, probably.
I was going to get to that, but I'm glad you're the one who brought it up. Because you know more than I do.
Yes, because like the contract that they were like, borrowing these characters, the rights for them from has now officially expired, and Disney was like, we're not going to let you keep these, which I think sucks. So they're gone, and because I hadn't mentioned this to you, like the day that I saw the news and like all that, and like they'll be available for like purchase still on the iTunes store for Apple and then on Amazon, but as of right now, there's nowhere else to stream them. Disney could release them either on Hulu or on Disney Plus, but I think this is a little unlikely for Disney Plus at least, because these would be like the most mature shows on Disney Plus by a huge margin here. Hulu maybe, but for me it'd be super weird to see like a Netflix show on Hulu, and I just can't stand the idea of having to watch it with ads because they've never had ads in them since they were released.
Well, see, I have Hulu without ads, so yeah, because I made sure we paid for it, but. It'd just be really funny to like see a little Google, not the Google, the little Hulu thing, like Hulu, and then the next thing is like Netflix.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be really funny. So I think the opposite. I think it's more likely to go on Disney Plus, even if it is more gory and stuff like that. But it does just because where all the Marvel stuff is. Well, most of the majority of the Marvel stuff is, and
it would be really interesting to see if they try to make these shows canon, because like the whole thing with Daredevil and stuff for a while, I was like, oh, it can't be canon with how the MCU is now. But then in rewatching some of the shows, the time frame may be able to be condensed enough where they can actually make the shows canon, kind of. I don't know how they would approach that. We'd have to see, but like, because I know the actor who played Wilson Fisk, like, yeah, this is the exact same Fisk, but obviously the actors don't always have the same information that like the producers and creators have. Like, I think it was at first, but maybe it is.
Well, and you got to think, because like the street level heroes are like the day-to-day people. So like, and I think the first couple, at least I know Jessica Jones takes place in like a very short amount of time. I don't remember about Daredevil. I think it was also relatively short. Like even just the first 3 seasons, like all 3 seasons, like take place relatively short amount of time. So like it would work. It's just the only thing that doesn't make sense to me is Defenders in the terms of the timeline, because like wouldn't all the other heroes be like, there's some explosions downtown, maybe we should go check them out.
Right.
That's about the only one that doesn't make a ton of sense. But then again, the multiverse was going nuts, and like literally none of the other heroes were like, that's strange.
Yeah. So we'll just have to see. I am re-watching Jessica Jones now. I'd started a while ago, but then stopped, and I picked back up where I left off. I'm trying to get to the end of it before they're ripped from Netflix here. And I always forget how good the Marvel Netflix shows are.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
So hopefully,
except the Iron Fist,
they're not. Yeah. Iron Fist is just really bad. Oh, so hopefully all of them will see like a new light somewhere on DVD. I would love to own them on. I'd love to own them on DVD. I'll look for Iron Fist. Iron Fist. I don't care if Disney like shreds up every single copy of that show.
So well, that's something I think about. I think they would, especially with Shang-Chi being in the MCU now, I think they might be going a different direction, maybe with Iron Fist.
That'd be cool.
Introducing
Iron
maybe
Fist,
like a second Shang-Chi movie or something like that.
Yeah, seeing him like in the MCU still, but not that Iron Fist.
Different Danny Rand. And then or just not even Danny Rand, it could be someone else. Yeah, who knows?
Sure. I don't know the backstory of like Iron Fist in the comic books of like who's been him, but
I don't mean either. And then I forgot what I was saying. Oh, Punisher. They're probably not going to try to canonize that either. That'll probably be they probably won't put that on Disney Plus or Hulu. I doubt they'll put that on Hulu either.
Yeah.
That might be like one of those, you got to buy it to see it. Like maybe put it on Amazon or something like that for like $1 an episode or whatever. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that they'll want to associate that in the MCU. Maybe Hulu. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I just hate it because those shows were so good.
I never saw Punisher.
Oh no?
I've heard good things. Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Like
my free trial ran out.
Punisher season 1 is like all right. Like it's pretty good in terms of story. It's like a standard like Punisher arc. And then season 2 is like a new direction kind of for the character that we never saw in Daredevil or in Punisher season 1, and it is fantastic.
Cool.
Cool. Punisher season 2 is probably one of my favorite season of all of the Marvel Netflix shows. So,
well, and I think it opens up a possibility to bring back God, what was her name? Not Sarah Temple, Claire Temple, as Night Nurse, and just kind of throw her in like different MCU projects here and there, like they had been doing in the Marvel Netflix shows. I think that'd be a cool opportunity to bring her back. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Like, I hate speculating about all this stuff because like we'll never get answers all it for is. Like for like all it is right now. Yeah, for like a while here, at least until we might know something in March when they're off of Netflix. But I just hate that they're taking them away, especially for Netflix. That hurts Netflix a lot. Oh no, Netflix! Oh no, Netflix is losing shows. They replace them.
Yeah,
They
they'll
make
play
so many
much, like,
shows. Like, dang.
Tall Girl and Space Force.
Oh God, Netflix doesn't make very good shows anymore, do they?
No, I was scrolling through Netflix and I saw that, like, Space Force new episodes, and I was like, why? I forgot they were doing this.
But
I watched all the
continue.
Space Force season 1. It was
Did you
really, really
really?
bad. Yeah. I don't know
Why
why. I
would you
expected
do
it to,
that?
it to get better at the end. It ends on the cliffhanger. It literally
Oh
ends
God, that's the
on a
worst.
giant cliffhanger where people are actually on the moon, and there's about to be a war on the moon, and they just, like, end it there. And it was so dumb. And it's not even fun to hate watch. It's not even fun to hate watch. It was
Is
just
it
bad.
worse when a bad show ends on a cliffhanger or when a good show ends on a cliffhanger?
That's tough. Both are bad, because when there's a bad show on cliffhangers, you're like, well, now I really wasted all my time here. Like, I can't get any satisfaction of a complete story.
Right.
When a good show, that just sucks. Like,
Yeah.
like Constantine. I hate how Constantine ended. So let's just ban cliffhangers from the end of seasons.
You're talking about books
Small
too?
cliffhangers are fine. Small cliffhangers, but, like,
Okay.
don't be like, oh, is this character gonna die, or what's gonna happen with this war, or what's going on?
Well, I mean, you can find out.
Let's just stop that
About the war.
I'm gonna call up.
Put yourself through that.
No, I'll just find a YouTuber who's able to hate watch it somehow, and then get their expert analysis on
Unironically watch
on everything.
Space Force.
Yeah.
But
was I gonna say anything else? It's probably it. It's like
no, there's more news.
Yeah.
Brought us
Yeah,
up. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just all from my end here.
Oh, okay.
All of the, like,
the important analysis.
Derailings, because conversation derailings, they're not actual trains, but you understand the point.
Yeah.
There goes our last listener of this podcast. They just got tired of this at this point. We're holding on to one more until that whole thing.
Yeah. But so next piece of news,
Yes.
Anthony Ramos of the In the Heights fame has been added to the Ironheart cast. He is supposedly playing a secret character that will become very important in the MCU moving forward. I don't know what that character is. As I said,
no. Kevin Feige, stop adding new characters. You've already added enough. We could have a new show for like 10 years. Like, like 5 episodes. We could do that many with the characters you've added. Like Moon Knight? No, not Moon Knight. Black Knight.
Yeah.
That was added. Actually, I guess that's. Never mind. I should not have said that. You haven't.
Did you almost just ruin Eternals for me?
Yeah, it's like, it's not that big of a thing. You'll, like, see it, but it was, like, teased, kind of.
Cool.
But they like introduced that idea, and it's like, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. We have Echo, who we introduced. He's gonna have a series. We have, like, all this stuff. Stop introducing new characters. Stop introducing new characters. We don't even know what Phase 4 is yet.
No, we don't.
By this point in, like, Phase 1, we knew exactly what Phase 1 was.
Yeah, it was an Avengers movie.
Yeah. Kevin Feige, stop.
How long is Phase 4 going to be, do you think?
Well, like, so Phase 4 is supposed to end
with Fantastic Four.
With Fantastic Four. I thought Fantastic Four was confirmed to be in Phase 5 for some reason.
I thought it was supposed to be Phase 4. I thought it was the very end of Phase 4, because get Fantastic Four, Phase 4 at. That was my impression. I don't know.
Yeah. No, like, I'd heard that was supposed to be. I'm pretty sure the last movie of Phase 4 is supposed to be Thor: Love and Thunder, and the first movie of Phase 5 is supposed to be Blade.
No, they pushed Blade. They pushed Blade back again, and
Blade back again. Okay,
and I think Thor: Love and Thunder comes out before Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No, wait. Oh, you're right. It comes out at the end of. No, wait.
Hold on.
When does
I
Thor:
got
Love and Thunder?
I don't know. MCU Phase 4. Maybe if I could write things properly, I would be able to look everything up properly. Jesus, this is just, everything's a mess. No, it says Fantastic Four is the end of it.
On
Marvel Cinematic Universe Wiki. So the fandom.com.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't even know what to use. Is Wikipedia accurate? I don't know.
I would just look what the release date for Thor: Love and Thunder is, and then look at what the release date for
that
Ant-Man
I have.
Quantumania is.
Quantumania. Thor: Love and Thunder comes out 2022, and then Ant-Man comes out 2023.
Okay, then it probably has changed. So I know that was initially how it was supposed to end. I'm pretty sure they initially announced at the last, but then they did rearrange all of the release dates.
Yeah, everything has been changed since that day.
Because we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I think comes out last now, right? Or does it come out before?
It comes out. I think that might be Phase 5. I think that one's Phase 5.
Nah.
Dude, we're spending too much time on this.
Also, you have no reason to not watch The Eternals now because it's out on Disney Plus, right?
Oh, it's been on Disney Plus since January. I have no excuse. I finally watched Encanto on this weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've not been able to stop listening to the soundtrack.
How was that?
It's so good.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
But anyway, back to news. There goes our last listener. In an interview with Empire Magazine.
Someone just tuned back in and then tuned out. This is a radio show now.
No one would give us airtime.
No.
In an interview with Empire Magazine, Kevin Feige described Moon Knight as brutal and that they aren't holding back. One can hope he's telling the truth.
That means nothing at all. From all the promotion they've done for other movies or whatever, even just standard movies. Have you seen that thing with the new Batman movie? How the actor who played the Riddler and all that? There was this news article that was promotion for the movie, and it says actor who played the Riddler couldn't sleep at night due to the terrifying character that he plays.
Oh God!
And it was the same super out of context. He was I was just I would film a scene and my adrenaline would be up because it would be is this an exciting movie? And I just couldn't sleep because of that. And they took it really out of context.
Completely out of context.
Yeah. They're using it to promote the movie a lot, but it's so funny. They did it all the time with even just super standard movies. This is one that I heard about. There was some kind of promotion thing. And they were oh, it's going to be, the next level, whatever. Just watch it. And you're this is the most average movie I've ever seen in my entire life. So I hope Moon Knight's good. I hope that it has those Marvel Netflix vibes we've talked about before. But actually, there's only a month and a week left. So
yep, 1 month, 1 week. Because our the next podcast and the one after that are not going to have anything in them.
Nope.
As far as we know. It'll be news.
It'll be news and then white noise ASMR the rest of the podcast.
But the not the next one, the one after that comes out 2 days before Moon Knight. So maybe we'll do an extra one that week after Moon Knight.
Or we postpone that one until after
Moon Knight. That
so
works
it
too.
releases late and then we can
So anyway, well, I'm glad we're planning. So anyway, transition. Moon Knight new trailer.
Yes,
you see that?
at the Superb Owl. Yeah, sorry, I always forget what this place is on.
Superb Owl. Yes, I agree as well. The Superb Owl. But yeah, they kind of reused a bunch of clips, but we saw some new ones.
Yeah,
lots of action. See, they're diving heavy into the
I'm still
the mental illness he has, which I don't remember the name of, and I don't want to butcher because that seems impolite.
Oh yeah. What was it? We talked about this last time.
I know it. DID.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Yes,
that's what it was.
Yeah. It looks like they're going to dive in heavy on that, and it just looks. It looks.
I hope they do it well.
Brutal, and it looks like they aren't holding back. But it looks good. What are your opinions?
My opinions are it looks good. Okay. One thing I do remember, I was trying to think back to what the trailer was. I like the scene with the cape, how the cape looks like a moon. That was a nice touch.
That was cool. That was very comic booky, which I like.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. You had like the boomerang things, which already these movies moves, and the cape was super nice too.
The Moonerang. that makes sense. Anyway.
Yeah, sure. Yes, moving on.
No, did you like the beginning scene with the Rubik's Cube? Because you're a Rubik's Cube person.
Yep. Yeah. He actually doing this neat move with it, which not a lot of people know the names of like Rubik's Cubes. You don't like follow
Didn't know
them
there
really
was a
closely,
move.
He was it's in this thing called turning it.
I thought you were about to get like real technical on it, but you did not.
No, I am absolutely. You ask anyone who does a Rubik's Cube, you're like, hey, do you know what the move where you turn the Rubik's Cube? They'll be like, yeah. So I mean,
Ryan Reynolds was asked in an interview with Variety if he was in the Multiverse of Madness.
And he said, yes, I play a terrifying character. Cannot sleep.
He said no. This is his exact quote. He said no, but I could be lying.
That is fantastic.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, it should just be like the
not.
default response they have everyone make now.
Well, that's what they like. Andrew Garfield was like, no, I'm not in it. It's like clearly, oh, by the way, spoiler alert. Clearly he was lying.
Yeah.
So Ryan Reynolds might be in it, maybe not. We don't know.
I am also not in the Multiverse of Madness, but I could be lying. So
yeah, we might have cameos, because we know we got connections.
No, sorry, not cameos. I play Doctor Strange. Did you not know this?
Oh, so so Mark Hamill plays you playing Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange. Gotcha.
Yes, I barely figured out Mark Hamill playing himself, playing Benedict Cumberbatch, playing Doctor Strange. Just barely. It was very close.
Wow. Good job. You really upped the acting chops there, Brennan.
Yeah.
Must be all the content you're creating.
Yep. Yeah. See, first it was Phantom. Now it's Multiverse of Madness. Two very equal movies.
Very equal.
Yeah.
I mean, Phantom has a full 5 views on YouTube. Like,
yes.
How could you come on? Multiverse of Madness barely has a million. So come on.
Yeah. See, and both amount of views fall between 5 and a billion. So
exactly,
they're in that
they're like
range.
the same thing.
Yeah. It's just like one of those like survey things. Like how many views does it have? It's like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or higher. And Multiverse of Madness and Phantom
same echelon.
Yeah.
By the way,
5 and higher category.
If you have not watched the Phantom yet, you're missing out.
Not the Phantom. That was
you're right. That was the original one.
Phantom.
Just Phantom. I mean, go watch both.
Artsy. Yes.
Go watch both, but mostly just Phantom.
Yes.
But anyway,
on
so that leads
YouTube channel. Yes.
So the Ryan Reynolds quote leads us to the new trailer we got during the Superb Owl.
Yes, it was a very superb owl.
A very superb trailer, even.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I would say. Yeah. Well. Yes, I saw it on YouTube afterwards. I didn't realize it aired until I was going through YouTube and it popped up, and I was like,
it said,
"Oh, it didn't."
It said, "Go to YouTube now to see the full trailer." I was like, "Okay, well, guess I'm going to the YouTube now to see the full trailer."
That's super weird.
Yep.
I like
yes.
I should have rewatched it before because I remember there's a lot of neat stuff I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember a single thing that happened in there.
Why don't we pause? You watch it, and I'll just stare at the camera while you watch it.
As entertaining as I'm sure that would be for all of our listeners on this audio medium. There was it looks like the new hero who they're adding.
America Chavez.
Yes. America Chavez looks like they have a pretty substantial role in the movie. They were in a lot of scenes. I'm looking forward to that. I always like when new characters can get added, as long as there's no background of Kevin Feige saying it's like, oh, this is the 18th crucial character we have for Wave 4. Then I'm all on board for that. There was more of that guy with the eyeball and the things.
Shumagaroth,
who tossed the bus. We already had seen that.
Yes.
There was
which,
Wanda.
by the way, we reported about
the bad guy. Yeah, we did.
We reported about that a long time ago. Yeah, Shumagaroth. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, is Wanda the bad guy? Maybe. That was a cool scene.
That's why, because I do remember that episode. This really old episode. And I was like, I think it was
I think
and
you were
like
here.
you kind of introduced it like as the squid. I was like, oh, it's this giant squid, and you were like, no, it's like an eyeball with tentacles, and I got sad.
Yeah, because we were here. Like that was like the
Yes.
first or second episode we ever
Yes.
did at my house.
Yeah,
Um,
I do remember that.
but
Ooh, it looks like Wanda might be the bad guy, or they
Yeah.
might be leading us to believe. Sorry, I'm gonna go out of frame really quick. I just dropped something on the floor.
it doesn't matter.
Okay,
No
I'm
one
back.
watches this podcast anyway.
I'm gonna shift like completely off screen, and then like you won't be able to tell. Hold on. There we go. Okay. And no one's the wiser. I definitely didn't say exactly what I was doing.
Nope, not at all. But so yeah, there's a quote from the movie or from the trailer. It was like Wanda said to Strange, "When you break the rules, you're a hero. When I do it, I become the villain," or something like that.
Yeah. Which everybody I saw online immediately pointed out the flaws with Wanda's logic a lot.
Yeah, as they do.
She did enslave an entire town, even like against the people's wills.
I mean,
and then like
it be what it be is my philosophy.
Yeah,
it be what it be.
Mm-hmm.
But
like I don't know if she will end up being the bad guy, if it's like a false lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, how much of the movie we've actually seen here. I think that'd be interesting. A lot of people are speculating that there's like Wanda variants will be in the movie, and one of them will be the bad guys.
Well, we already saw that there's going to be another Wanda variant.
Did we
trailer? Yeah, in the trailer. Remember,
sure, for like 100%.
It's got it is, or at least people say it is. I don't know. I guess I just got it looks like it. Who
it looks like
was Wanda? Yeah. Who was Wanda fighting in the trailer? That's my question. Yep.
I just showed up on set one day, and whatever the actress's name is,
Elizabeth Olsen,
Mark Hamill, was like, you can't be here, and then
and they just happened to catch it on film
in the movie
and animated it.
One of my favorite fake news articles from Spider-Man, or like whatever fake quotes, was like Tom Holland was like, oh yeah, William Dafoe wasn't originally in the movie at all. You showed up one day and then started beating me up, and Kevin Feige kept filming.
That's great. But
exactly what happened.
No, but who do you think she's fighting? A lot of I've seen
to remind me of like the exact scene. I'm not to like
pull up
on the computer. I'll see my eyes just like dart over here.
It was Wanda fighting like an orange light. Yeah. Some people are speculating Human Torch, which I think is weird, and then other people are speculating the Phoenix Force.
The weirdest speculation I've seen is that it is Tom Cruise as like Iron Man. Is it Tom Cruise? Is that
I've seen that. I've seen that speculation for a different scene, but yes.
I've seen like the glowing orange, whatever. They're like, that's Tom Cruise, and I was like, what? What do you mean?
Tom Cruise, just regular old Tom Cruise, just glows yellow in a different universe. It's fighting Wanda.
Yep. Yeah.
But okay. Well, let's talk about that scene then. About Strange. He gets there, and someone's like, and someone.
Or should we rewatch the trailer?
Some bald-headed man. Says that. Do you think we should tell him the truth?
Yes.
Who is the bald-headed man, and who are the other figures that are sitting around the bald-headed man? Also, were those Ultron bots that brought him in? Please
forgive me for kicking this horse to death, but it's bald-headed Mark Hamill.
Did we kick this horse to death in episode 2? What do you mean?
It is just the council of Mark Hamill's, all with different distinct facial hair. One is like the handlebar mustache. One is like the mutton chops.
What is the one from not Light of the Jedi, Last Jedi? The long hair and the beard.
Yes. Exactly.
The other one is him with Joker makeup on.
One has
no reason.
Just actually, no. I guess one just has his eyebrows shaved off. That's it. All of their facial hair, standard facial hair, just eyebrows shaved off. Did you ever watch the Last Man on Earth, or see anything from the Last Man on Earth?
I told you I watched the first episode and he stopped being the Last Man on Earth, so I stopped watching it.
Yes, you did. There's one point in season 2 where he goes up like all his facial hair, so his beard's long, his hair's long, or whatever.
Yeah.
And someone shaves half of his face, just completely. So he's completely bald on one side and is like super long hair on the other side. So there's that Mark Hamill. He's just chilling there.
We saw the bald half.
Yeah, exactly. It actually is. Yeah. That's not Professor Xavier.
Okay, so you
Xavier.
said you wanted to talk about it. I hope that wasn't
Yes.
that's all you wanted to
No.
talk about was just make a bunch of Mark Hamill jokes.
I wanted to actually talk about it.
Okay.
Because so a lot of people are saying like this is the Professor Charles Xavier from the X-Men movies and like all of that.
Sure sounds like it.
I don't think it's like that version. I believe it's a variant of him.
Played by
Yes. Yeah. So like it's the exact same. He kind of has like a similar backstory, but it's not like that specific one. It's not like him who just became, because I think it's the like I've seen a lot of people talking about it online, and I think it makes the most sense for it to be the Illuminati, like the Marvel, Illuminati, or not the actual non-existent Illuminati, but like the comic.
What they want you to think.
Yeah. And I am proud to give it to them. Try to think exactly how they want me to think. But yeah, so I think it's the Illuminati, and it'll be like composed of like figures that we know, but like not the versions that we know. So it'll be them with like different backstories and like everything. So it won't be the exact Professor Charles Xavier, but it'll be like a Professor Charles Xavier.
Right. Well, so a lot of people isn't saying. So in the comics, it's Xavier, it's Tony Stark, it's Reed Richards, who is Mr. Fantastic, it's Black Panther, and
ouch,
Namor the Submariner, I believe. That's the Illuminati.
Atlantis guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, Black Panther may or may not be in it, but like that's like the and Doctor Strange.
Oh well, I don't think he's in it. A
variant of him could be.
Oh,
or maybe this is how he gets introduced into the.
Okay.
So
if Reed Richards is in the Illuminati, do you think it'll be a Reed Richards we've seen, or the Reed Richards who will become like the same, like the actor who plays the Reed Richards in there will be the same actor who plays the Reed Richards in the MCU?
I think we'll get like the Fox, the original Fox, the original Fox. Just Reed Richards. I pray to God, not the Fan-Four-tastic one. Just the Fan-Four-stick one, not the Fan-Four-stick one. Please don't let it be the Fan-Four-stick one.
I want it to be like Fox, but not like Fox the company, but like Fox, like a fox. They went into the woods, picked up a fox. They're like, you're Reed Richards now. It went, and then they put him in like in the chair.
That's from the. Hold on. Name of the episode is Fox's Reed Richards. Fox's Reed Richard.
Yes.
There we go. But anyway.
Sounds perfect.
But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, same thing. Like the same goes for Namor,
It's like the Fantastic Four from Spider-Ham's.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say until you made the noise.
Oh yeah,
because he would be talking if it wasn't. But yeah. So that's where the. Why'd you take a sip of a drink while you're in the middle of you laughing?
Just bring a live fox in from the woods, set him on the chair on the set. It's like flying around and screaming, but they dub Mark Hamill's voice in as its mouth is open. But they didn't mute the sound of the fox screaming. It's just Mark Hamill trying to talk over the fox.
But they keep just screaming in, right? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Do you have problems?
Coming to my head as I was drinking.
Do they or do they not put the suit on?
What?
Do they or do they not put the suit on the fox? Or at least try to put a patch on him with the number 4.
So the costumers don't think they could get the fox in the Fantastic Four suits, and so they stuff him in like a CGI green suit with the white balls on it, and they CGI the suit on top of that.
Instead of putting the suit on him, they put that suit on him instead. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And
This has been completely derailed. I was.
And then the next day, you see the fox scurrying through the woods with this giant neon green suit with all the white balls on it.
This is wonderful audio.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Anyway, I think we should move on from this because we're not going to get anywhere otherwise.
And in the background of all the next Marvel movies, you can just see the fox just scurrying around. It's like Lost on all the sets. Becomes the new Stan Lee cameo, just a fox in a green suit with giant white balls.
Would they CGI different suits on him every time?
Nope, they stopped CGIing suits after the first one.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Just
that would be so funny.
That was a trip.
Oh my goodness.
My God. Brett.
Hey Siri, text Mark Hamill. Hey, I have a great idea for you about Fox in a green CGI suit. Please call me back. It's been so long since we've talked. Hope
you're in the corner.
I love you. XO. Your pal, Brennan. Send.
You just signed a text message? What are you, 90?
Siri says they can't find Mark Hamill in my contacts, so I know that's wrong.
Must have got the name wrong. Speaking of drugs,
yes,
we got a Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie trailer.
Yeah. Which that also reminds me, like, as well. I got an email from these other people who do like a podcast where there's some cartoon characters they just absolutely hate and they just want to like tear to shreds like their words and everything, so real mean and insult them and everything. And they wanted our podcast name for like a new podcast they're doing. Because of like the Chip and Dale movie, they just can't stand Chip so much, and they just want to verbally roast him.
Jesus Christ!
So
oh my God, you stretched really... that so hard. You really tried to make that work so hard. That was so bad.
It worked perfectly. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you on drugs today? Anyway, that movie trailer. You have to be on drugs to like make that movie. Movie looks awful.
That movie looked phenomenal.
No,
the fact that they start off as like 2D cartoon characters and then one of them becomes like CGI animated. That is just such an insane idea to have for a movie.
It looks really bad. I'm glad we have two different opinions because we will be. When does it come out?
I don't know. I will probably not.
Hopefully between the time
it ever, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, no. I would have to be very unsober to watch that movie. Very like the opposite, like the anti-sober. And finally, Paramount announced allegedly, I didn't actually see this confirmed anywhere, that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is in production, is in the works.
Nice.
Even though the second one has not come out yet, and also a Knuckles TV show, which I have seen confirmed places. So
sweet.
We're gonna keep getting Sonic content, I guess. But yeah, so after that was what was mostly news, and not Brennan thinking about a fox in a suit, CGI suit.
It will be known as the Sonic universe of cinematic content.
Sonic cinematic content. Yep. Okay, now think about that acronym for a second.
Yes, that is why I put those words in that order.
All right, just making sure you understand what you just did.
I'm super excited for the next Suck movie.
Brennan, you on a roll today.
I know, right? Here we go.
Bring that energy for the Book of Bobba Fett finale, which is all we have left to talk about today, because that's the end of news or whatever the hell that was.
No, one more bit of...
Oh, that's right.
of DC news,
That's right.
we got the combination trailer of the Batman. Name one of the movie, Brennan.
Aquaman,
Yeah.
fucking Black Adam.
Yeah, the Batman, Black Adam, Aquaman, and the Flash. Those are the 4 movies.
Name one other movie, Brennan.
So we got that trailer. Most of the stuff we'd already seen. I'm very excited for the Flash movie. I love the Flashpoint arc, and that's what the movie will be about. It looks like we're gonna get the other Flash versions. Is what it looks like.
Speaking of variants,
what?
I said, speaking of variants,
yes, yes. This is gonna be like the No Way Home for DC, except for the DC movies suck. So. Not to confuse with the Sonic universe of cinematic content.
Man, okay, I am for sure actually clipping that because we need something to go viral, and that's the thing that's gonna go viral.
Sure. Oh my goodness. But so in the trailer, we got a lot more shots of Black Adam that we hadn't gotten before. We got a lot more shots of Aquaman too, but I don't care about Aquaman. I still haven't watched the first one, and I have no drive to watch the first one here. But Black Adam, because it was confused, it would have Hawkman and my favorite, Dr. Fate. So that was really cool. I've wanted a live action Dr. Fate for a while. He's just cool. He has a helmet.
Is Hawkman the one that looks like Wolverine but with a beak?
He's the one with like wings, and also yes, I guess.
Okay, cool. Because I've always thought that, I'm like, because whenever I see that, I'm like, wow, that kind of looks like Wolverine but with a beak, and because like they look the same. But
I've only ever seen Hawkman before in like the Arrowverse crossover and in DC Legends of Tomorrow, but in DC's Legends of Tomorrow's, he died in either episode 1 or 2.
Of course,
so very early on, did not have a recurring role.
I can imagine so. They haven't brought him back from the dead yet.
Nope. I don't think they plan on it.
Only Constantine.
He's been dead for several years.
Would you put it past them though on the Legends of Tomorrow?
No.
You watched before we get to Book of Boba Fett. You watched Peacemaker.
Yes, I did watch Peacemaker. It was phenomenal. I enjoyed it a lot. If you enjoy the style of humor that was in the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, you will like Peacemaker. It was great. Like I saw some clips and some trailers, and they didn't really like make me super invested in it. So I like held off on watching it. Then I had a lot of friends who started to recommend it. I saw the intro song. The intro was phenomenal.
Song, yeah.
Just like, okay, I'm gonna have to give this a chance. I'll just watch the first episode. I was hooked.
Really?
And it was great. The last episode was great too. Like it did the finale well. Like see, what Marvel needs to do is like have their big finale fight scenes that they always have like happen towards the beginning of the last episode, and then save like the last half for the characters to like talk and interact about like the last battle. So
wind down. Yeah.
They end on like the battle. It's like the battle, then like quickly type as many threads as possible, then end. Peacemaker had the final battle happen at like the beginning part of the final episode, and the rest was like the aftermath of that. All the characters, talking about what happened.
I saw the end with the Justice League.
That was fantastic. That was so great. So much fun. Like, I actually saw a tweet after the Peacemaker finale had like aired. Not aired. It's not primetime TV. What am I talking about here?
Was uploaded
after it was released. That's what I was looking for.
Uploaded.
Yeah, sure. And someone was like, honestly, if this is like the direction that DC goes, where their main focus is just like C-list characters and that's it, and all these A-listers are just like the useless like backup characters that never come into play, I would love that. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with this take. It'd be phenomenal just to have all this stuff happening and just in the background somewhere, not really do anything, having these like high tier celebrities everyone's like always talking about, but aren't actually involved in like stopping anything that like happens in like the main stories.
I agree, and I was saying something like that to Ryan the other day. I was like, I'm like this Batman movie looks fine, but that was before I saw it another 3 times the trailer, and I was like, they're like other DC characters, like they can make other movies,
right?
Like I get Batman makes you money, but like there are other characters
with like DC, because Marvel has a lot of characters as well, but like DC has an obnoxious amount of characters.
And but Marvel's exploring them. Like who thought we would ever get a Moon Knight show?
Yeah,
or like a fucking Kate Bishop show.
Yeah, but like I always feel like with Marvel has always like explored more of their characters in the past. Anyway, like not always like directly, because like we had like Spider-Man. Yeah, Blade was great. Like Spider-Man is kind of like the main, like people think of like MC or like Marvel, they think like, oh, Spider-Man.
I think their most popular is Spider-Man, Hulk, and Wolverine. I believe those are the top 3.
Sure. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, but like even you have groups like the Avengers, but like there was never like one Avengers roster. It was like kind of like rotating list and everything. They're like character replacements. But with DC, you have like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, always the main 3, stuff like that. But like they can really explore a lot more, and I'm glad they kind of have been ish here. Hopefully that keeps up, because like I'm pretty sure James Gunn is doing more projects with DC in the future here, with both the Suicide Squad, and I think I saw Peacemaker has been renewed for a season 2 as well.
Oh, cool.
Which is phenomenal. So I really hope that they keep going in this direction, because like they introduced Vigilante for the DCEU. And he was phenomenal. I like the character of Vigilante was in the Arrowverse, but wasn't anything like what we got here.
Right.
Vigilante was great.
I think, and this is just a general perception, and I understand that there's a lot of gritty parts to Marvel, like Moon Knight and Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and like the street level stuff. And I understand that get like really gritty, but DC but Marvel doesn't need it. And like we've been shown that, like, the space stuff makes Marvel, and I understand there's space stuff at DC too, but DC just is gritty to most people, and they just haven't gone that route. They've tried to match Marvel and like the kind of like the balance of the action and humor.
Yeah,
I feel like they've tried to, at least. They've tried to keep up with them. No, you don't think so?
See, I don't think so. I think DC's problem is
originally they tried to do that, like with the first couple movies. Maybe not. I don't know. That was just my perception.
Which ones?
I've only seen 2, so I don't. There was Batman versus Superman and Wonder Woman.
Oh, see, with now with Wonder Woman, no, even with Wonder Woman, I guess
they weren't that. I guess they weren't funny.
Yeah.
I guess they're not trying. But maybe the whole building of the universe they're trying. I don't know. But they're still trying to go tit for tat with Marvel, and it's not working.
Yeah, DC needs to take its own direction here. I really think that if they do more stuff like the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, then they will find like a niche that Marvel is not in. Because you are where they have tried to compete with Marvel, at least on like the having heroes and bringing them together for this whole thing, and they haven't been able to replicate what Marvel did, because they didn't like plan for it necessarily in the same way that Marvel did here.
And you said earlier. No, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was going to say, but if they do their own thing here, they do have that interconnected universe, but are approaching it from a different direction that they have a plan for. That would serve them a lot better, especially with this style of humor that they had in the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Disney isn't going to get anywhere near that at all. No. So you will have like your own comic book niche, which is what gave Marvel its success. Is it created like its comic book niche of like this super gigantic, enormous world. It's kind of weird calling that like a niche, but it like
right.
It like was here, and it still is kind of, because no one's been able to replicate that, even though the DC has tried.
And the only one that has is Star Wars, and that's because Disney owns Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yep. But what you were saying earlier about Flash, how it's like the No Way Home, but for Flash, and the movies were bad. How many movies in are DC, and how many movies in are Marvel. Like it makes sense with Marvel because they're like what 28 movies in. DC's like
Yeah,
what
DC's
maybe
like
15,
it's
maybe.
it's like maybe 8.
Yeah,
I would say.
your point.
Yeah.
You know, they're between 8 and 15. They got to be somewhere
Yeah.
around there, right? They don't
Like
have the movie, and was the
we
fourth
had
movie they tried to do the
Superman, Batman versus Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman 1, Wonder Woman 2, Aquaman, and that's and like a Suicide Squad, not the James Gunn one, but like the older one. Those were the only ones we've officially had.
That's all we've seen.
Yeah, as
Oh
like
my God.
part of like the DCEU. So that's like 7.
That's 7.
I think 8 was like a high.
I thought 15 was low.
Yeah,
I didn't realize there had only
think
been 7.
of another a
Shazam.
movie that like. Oh right, okay, yeah. Shazam.
Did you say the Aquaman movie?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but so like, okay, yeah, you're right. 8. You
So
got
8.
it on you hit it the nail on the head. You know, like
Score.
8, you know, and now we have the Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker show, and finally it feels like something with Batman and Flash on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being on HBO Max really helps kind of unleash all that. Whereas, you know, as you said prior, like the CW verse is a mess. And it's never been great. You said it was there was a couple episodes that were, or a couple seasons that were good, like really good. But
yeah, like it was really good early on where you had like Slade Wilson, and like Eobard Thawne, and like Malcolm Merlin, and you had these like kind of individual stories. But as soon as like they ran out of all their A-list characters, so like bringing everyone together and like all that, you can kind of never step back away from that, but they had to. But because then, like I mentioned in another podcast, it was in this really dumb situation where like Team Arrow was like, oh, we have to get in and out of somewhere quick, and it's super crucial. If we don't, the city will be destroyed, and they have to figure out this complicated way to go about it. But it's like, you know, Barry Allen, who's super fast, could do this all for you if you just call him, and so they can never remove that element. So it just kind of removes a lot of stakes.
Right.
But yeah, so it worked early on. The first couple crossovers were phenomenal, but after that, just no.
Right.
But Peacemaker is really like, Peacemaker handled this whole crossover new character stuff well, and there were a lot of like references to other characters. Like we got official confirmation that Pat Pat Might is a character in the DCEU.
I've never heard of Bat Might. No,
he's this imp from another dimension who's obsessed with Batman.
That's kind of cool.
Like, little imp character just as Batman. He just like antagonizes him a lot because he's like obsessed with like how cool Batman is. Super ridiculous character that we've only seen like animated stuff before. Now apparently there's a live action version of him somewhere, just like hanging out in like a background.
Nice.
So
nice.
It's super cool getting to see all these references and stuff to characters that like in like a standard like super serious DC universe, like what they tried to do early on with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, all that stuff. We would never have seen that in a million years.
Right.
And now we have that.
Yeah. They tried too early to do too much. They were trying to catch up to Marvel. Like the Batman v Superman came out, I think, at least close to around the time Civil War came out.
And it was the second
movie. It should never have been the second movie.
No. It should have been maybe the like Avengers movie. Like once they've introduced all the characters, then have that as like an Avengers type movie.
Yeah. And then they tried to do, I think Justice League was probably too early too. Much less the 4-hour one.
Yeah. Like
because they never had time to introduce all the characters.
The 4-hour one would have been a fantastic like Infinity War Endgame. That would have been so cool. But it was like movie number like 8, I guess.
Yeah. Something like that. 7 or 8, or 8 or 9.
It's like the first Justice League movie. If you think about when Zack Snyder's Justice League would have originally come out if like
He's
you saw it.
17,
Then
I think.
that was movie number what, like 4?
Something like
Was
that.
was it
Yeah.
movie number 4?
Because there was
That's
Wonder Woman, Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel,
that's
Aquaman.
even
No.
before the
Yeah, that was
Avengers
number
movie.
4.
Yeah, that's before like the Avengers movie was number 5
Yeah.
in terms of Marvel.
Yeah, because you had 2
They-
Iron Man movies, Captain America
Yeah.
and Thor.
They rushed that way too much.
Yeah. And I think they're trying to like tread that back now. Because they clearly have seen that like they're not doing well, you know.
Yeah.
So just being their own thing will help a lot, and you know. But I'm glad you'll enjoy the Peacemaker movie, the show, because like I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah,
and maybe I'll watch it eventually. I mean, I got so much. I'm behind on some of these shows.
Yeah, like it was just a really great watch.
Cool.
Just because like with like Marvel shows especially, I mean, Marvel shows are good, don't get me wrong, but they kind of just all start to feel the same at a certain point.
Right.
Because like the tone is kind of like stagnant between all of them. And it was great to kind of just take a small step outside of that into a whole different world here.
Right.
And hopefully eventually Marvel can kind of like with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness and Moon Knight, those look like they can have a very different tone than what we've seen in a lot of Marvel recently here. So fingers crossed.
Yep. So that leads us to Star Wars again.
Yes.
Book of Boba Fett, last episode aired 2 weeks ago. Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. So what were your like, I'm assuming we're not wanting to do a play-by-play of what happened or anything.
No.
Just talking about overall thoughts of the show. So where would you like to start with that?
So real quick, I want to just kind of share some information I got. It's not information, but it's like an opinion of someone gave. So someone I follow on TikTok at Corellian Coffee Works. She did not watch any of the Boba Fett episodes until the very last one. And then she binge watched all 7 straight through. She said they are better back to back to back to back to back to back to back than if watching them weekly. And I feel like that's a very interesting way to think about it. And honestly, I'd probably
right.
agree.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't gotten the chance to go back and like watch them straight through, but
that's interesting because kind of according to that logic, it should have almost been closer to a movie than to the show that we got.
Yeah, probably.
Which is interesting to think about.
Yeah, that was just thought that was something interesting to throw out there. Just kind of discuss this. Overall, though, I enjoyed the finale. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
wasn't anything major or special.
Like
it was good.
I wish we got more of a build up to it because what it almost made me feel like when we were watching it, because episodes 5 and 6 we were focused solely on Mandalorian, it made me feel like Boba Fett was doing a lot of stuff in the background to get kind of prepared for this year. And we missed all of that. It's like the camera crew forgot they were supposed to be filming Boba Fett and just followed the Mandalorian around. They're like, oops, wrong show. The very last one. Because the thing that was supposed to be cool, but didn't really feel like a solid payoff at all was like the Rancor. Because, he gets the Rancor as a gift from the Hutts and it's like, oh, you have to ride him. It takes practice to ride a Rancor. You'll have to practice a lot. You can't do it on your first try, but if you practice, you have to like practice.
Hey, Brennan, do you have to practice?
At some point, we'll see him practicing with this, and there'll be a payoff. And we never saw him practicing. It was just at the very end. Just like, oh, I can ride a Rancor now. I've been practicing. It was while Mando was gone. Do you guys not see that? Were you guys not watching me? Were you watching someone else here? So that just kind of felt like, oh, why didn't we see more of that in a show that's supposed to be about Boba Fett? Where was that?
Do you think we should have gotten? Okay, let me propose something. Okay. All right, so we get the men instead of getting the flashbacks every couple episodes.
Yeah,
like the way we got them.
Sure.
What if we had gotten instead of like just like the first 2 episodes, just straight up flashbacks, like no current day Boba Fett stuff, any of that. And as the series goes on, we get flashes to the Mandalorian instead of flashes to the past.
Oh,
throughout the episode, instead of having two solid Mandalorian episodes, we get Mandalorian sprinkled in throughout the episodes. Kind of, we get to follow that same arc still, but we also get Boba Fett throughout the whole thing. Even though the first 2 episodes were kind of flashbacks anyway.
Probably not, because I mean, I think even this show we got way too much Mandalorian here. I really think in like the perfect Boba Fett show, we'd have not gotten
none. Or just the end.
Just Mandalorian by himself at all. We've seen the Mandalorian, on the planet interacting, helping Fett out, but not his like own story.
Right.
Which that also reminds me. You remember the one thing I said on like the last episode here of like what would make sense for like with Grogu and all that? I was like, it'll be perfect if they just end it here. We don't see any more of Grogu at all. That way, when Mandalorian season 3 starts up, they won't have to explain why Mando has Grogu now. And what do they do?
Not that.
Start of the episode. Pretty much. You will just see like the ship land and just R2 and Grogu, and he has the armor on, and you're like, okay.
That I immediately thought of you. I'm like, oh, well, Brennan's not going to be happy about this.
But then I have one shred of hope because I'm like, oh, maybe she'll just hold on to him, and Mando won't be reunited with him here. But then start of Mandalorian season 3, he'll be walking back in there, and she'll be like, oh, here's the baby.
And then she pulls up on the battle in the middle of the battlefield. Yeah.
Yes. And then I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe the child will be executed by this robot. And then Mandalorian season 3 will start off, and he won't have the child still. That would have been a horrible twist.
That would have been awful.
Because then you'd be watching Mandalorian season 3 if you hadn't seen Book of Boba Fett. You'd be like, oh, I bet Grogu was all happy, be training with Luke and everything. You're like, why does Mandalorian look so sad?
Actually, he's dead.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was just super weird. Like, I liked it. I liked that he's more confident with his force powers now and everything. He used that
he remembers
to help out. Yeah. Yep. But like, it was super weird.
Yep.
Cad Bane is dead. I guess
very dead.
He
very,
was super
very
old.
dead.
But
that's not what killed him.
Weird. That's kind of a weird.
Killed him with a Jaffe stick.
What?
Killed him with a Jaffe stick.
Yep. Nope. Actually, he died of old age right before he was stabbed.
Could you imagine? It's like you stab the dead guy with a Jaffe stick. That was cool. That's how we beat him, though. Boba Fett ended up killing him with the Jaffe stick.
That was cool. Because it was like, oh, you have to be alone. But then what ended up, working for him is he wasn't alone. He had the training of like, his community that, of course, now he is alone because his community was killed by the people that are now dead.
I like how they use that kind of as well to kind of fuel his rage.
Yeah.
Payback.
Although, again, that was super weird that they introduced all of that in the very last episode there. Like,
that was strange.
This show really should have been longer almost, but like not just longer of what we got. It should have been a different show.
No, it shouldn't have been longer. It's just those 2 episodes we got that were the Mandalorian should have been about Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's literally. I literally think the issue was the cameramen were on the wrong. Just like the wrong people the whole time, which sounds absurd.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, the thing where like he was like more like he didn't want to be ruthless or whatever towards people, where he's just like pow pow pow, shoot, but like was super skilled in battle still was neat. And then but then how like he sent Fennec Shand with the headquarters, and she just like killed everybody there.
She's a badass.
That was a super, super cool scene. We had not seen anything like that in like a while here.
Right.
So that was nice.
Yeah, the show should have been about her. It should have been the Book of Fennec Shand. Okay.
Honestly, that could have worked better than what we got.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall.
Again, this should have been called the Book of Boba Fett. Just like I said before, this should have been called Star Wars the Show, and that's it.
Yeah, you're right. But You got
Yes. What were you saying?
your bike gang back with the weird colored, but which I sent you a meme that they looked like blenders.
Yeah, that was great. I absolutely love the shot. So many people have I'm pretty sure are mocking this, and I
Are you talking
understand
about
why.
the spinning shot?
Yeah, the one thing where he goes like shoot, and he shoots. That was so
He turns
funny.
and shoots he turned for no reason other than to shoot.
Yeah, like I unironically loved that scene though. Like seeing it for the first time before I knew it was going to be like a meme or whatever everyone was talking about. I love that scene. So I'm like Star Wars should be more of that. I know that we just have a million hate comments like, oh my god, but whatever. That's a Star Wars I would love to see more of.
Mm-hmm. Just dumb spinning moves for no reason.
Yep, just like the whole Coruscant episode 2 vibe, and in my mind, that's what I want to see more of. I wonder if they'll ever go like explore Coruscant between episode 6 and 7, because we know in episode 7 it gets right.
So Coruscant was not the capital of the Republic in the after episode 6.
Yeah, but yeah,
it was.
I don't care about it being the capital.
Hosnian Prime, I think.
I don't care about it being the capital. I just want to see them.
It blew up.
Go back there.
I don't think that was one of the planets that blew up.
7, right? It was like Star Killer.
Yeah, I don't think. It might have been. I don't think it was. I know Hosnian Prime was.
Hosnian. Was it Hosnian Prime that was?
That was the capital. That was what blew up. Yeah.
No, Brennan is very wrong. I'm not gonna be one of those people with this one.
I'm not gonna be one of those people, but I'm gonna be one of those people.
I will trust you on this one then. Yes. I assumed it was Coruscant for some reason. I was probably wrong. Is there anything else to talk about? Oh, we found out in the post-credit scene of the episode that the Marshal is alive still, maybe? Question mark. That seems like a super odd thing for them to have in a post-credit scene, though. Unless they're setting up the Marshal to have his own show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe. They're setting up everyone to have their own show, apparently.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, okay. It was just the Hosnian system that blew up.
Oh, okay. That's fine. So we can see more of Coruscant.
Yes, we can.
Eventually here.
Mm-hmm. Coruscant.
I think it's kind of all the thoughts that I had. I like how they had like the Force shields, not the Force shields, but like the yeah, just the shields from like, because we haven't seen those since like the Clone Wars or whatever.
Yeah,
the Clone Wars time era with like the droid Reekers and all that. It was cool to see them, but like more powerful, because even the lightsaber could not get through, which is how they used to defeat them in the Clone Wars. Slash.
Yeah, I forgot about those. The roller droids.
Yeah,
but bigger.
Droid Rikas.
What?
Droid Arikas were what they were called. All as like
okay.
One word. I only know that because it was in the Clone Wars video game. You unlocked them as playable characters.
Gotcha.
Yep.
But overall, what do you think of the series?
Weird.
That's a good way to put it.
I liked it, but it wasn't the Book of Boba Fett. It was a book that mentioned Boba Fett in a couple chapters.
Oh, that's another great name for a title. That's another great title. The book that mentioned Boba Fett.
Honestly, yes. I like that one more.
Yeah, I do too. Honestly, I like the Fox.
Yeah. They're both great.
I will figure out which one I want to use. But yeah, it was
book that mentioned Boba Fett.
Book that mentioned Boba Fett. Oh, geez.
So that's kind of all the thoughts I have, though. I expected to have more thoughts, but really it was just kind of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I kind of feel like this. It's weird. I'm like, The Mandalorian is like not one of my favorite Star Wars projects. Like, I like it. It's really good, but it's not like, well, I mean, in terms of stuff on screen, it's like not my number. Not even in my top 10. I don't think.
Top 10. How much Star Wars stuff is there on screen?
There's what is it? Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Resistance, Clone Wars, Rebels. There's 5 shows.
Okay.
And then there's 9 movies. So 14.
Okay,
I take that back. It is in my top 10. It is in my top 10.
So you're counting all the movies as like their own
individual
things.
Yes,
all
that's because they are their own individual things. They are each their own movie. But yeah,
what was I gonna say? Yeah. Sorry, you can go first. I have my question in mind now.
I did a ranking a while ago. I think I ranked it 9, but I don't remember.
Oh, okay, sweet. How do you think The Mandalorian season 3 will start off now?
They'll just be in a ship. They're gonna take out the exact same place they were.
Nice.
Oh, by the way, that
they will go back up to
I forgot. That was funny.
Gideon Stark cruiser.
That scene at the end was very funny, where Grogu was telling him to go fast, like kept knocking on the window, telling him to go faster. That was great.
Yes, that was fantastic. It was so cute to see him just up there. At first, I thought he was knocking because he was lonely. That must be kind of freaky to just like as a kid to just be trapped in this little like orb thing.
Where like you can see him, but he's like in order to get there, you have to travel through space.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The stuff on screen, Flip's hair is very, very boring compared to the stuff on other stuff. I don't know. It's just the least interesting to me now. The stuff on screen, like it's cool and I like it, but like,
yeah,
I like the books more. No offense, movie people. Mm. I'm one of those people now. Nice. What book should I read? I'm gonna go with the Jedi one. No, I'm going with the Padme book.
Yeah,
it's like 8 pages shorter, and the next one comes out in April. So,
nice.
So yeah, what are we gonna do next podcast? And the
great
one after
question. I guess for our viewers or listeners here, tune in to find out what we decide.
I have an idea.
Do.
I have a good idea. I got it.
Right.
But this is gonna be a short podcast.
Yeah, not our shortest, I don't think, but
our shortest is 55 minutes with RJ, I believe.
Nice. Oh wow.
I know. And it's also one of our longer ones. Our second longest now is with RJ, the one where the chosen one. If it's good enough for the chosen one.
Yeah.
But if you guys enjoyed this, give us a like, subscribe, rate us on anything, on whatever you're listening to.
Yes.
Subscribe to our YouTube channels at Not Brennan and at Wolfgator Entertainment. Follow us on Instagram at Chip Roasting.
And remember to send us a message on Instagram at Chip Roasting of how many Jedi Padawans we should slaughter.
And don't forget to email. Don't forget to email Spotify and tell them who you thought won. Spotify at AOL.com.
And do not include in that email that we are planning to slaughter Jedi Padawans. I think that would get our podcast removed from everywhere.
But
we are just following in the footsteps of the chosen one. So if it's good enough for him, it's
good enough for the Chip Roasting podcast.
Yes, exactly.
All right, everyone. Peace out.
Peace.